Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the first of two intros to this episode of Kvetching with Adam and Jarrod. Why two of intros? Well, we recorded an episode last week and never posted it, and that's because one of them, or several of them, were ongoing stories. One of them has yet to resolve, and we decided not to go there. One of them has become irrelevant, and one of them has had important developments, which is what we are going to talk about today. So you are treating
a very strangely structured episode because of this new edition that we're recording. It's going to be kind of like a Christopher Nolan movie, where everything's disjointed.
Yeah, and there'll be splices going on, which is why you'll be able to tell for a variety of reasons. One, the color of my shirt will be different. I have trimmed my beard, and I'm actually sober now, unlike the one that we recorded last week.
Right, and I'm not wearing my Cat's Deli shirt.
Right, he's not wearing his Cat's Deli shirt. But we recorded the other one at night, and I had a few drinks, and my beard needed trimming. And I was wearing, I think, an orange shirt. So blue shirt, new portion, orange shirt, old portion. We also had an original title, The Good, the Bad, and the Schmegegge, which is going to be a title of Adam's book chapter.
No, a book chapter.
A book chapter, and you're supposed to thank me for giving you that title. And that title may no longer work for our episode because we're cutting out the good and the bad, and we're just sticking with the Schmegegge. Yeah. Because this episode has everything to do with Peter Beinart, 2022 recipient of the Schmegegge of the Year Award from the Jewish Studies Zionist Network, and Omer Bartov, 2023 recipient of the Schmegegge of the Year Award from the Jewish Studies Zionist Network. And as you will see, now that we're going to switch back to the original podcast and have some interesting digressions on Jewish jokes and whatnot, you will see that there was an issue of us having posted, us being Jewish Zionist Network broadly defined here, the fact that they won the award on their Wikipedia pages, and it was taken down with an accusation of vandalism, a legitimate award from the legitimate organizations. So we rectified that situation in a good Wikipedia fashion and put in proper critiques of their work, which we will show you once we return to the second part of the story, i.e. when I'm wearing my blue shirt. For those of you who need cues here to follow along, orange shirt, old episode, too much to drink at night, blue shirt, new portion of the episode with the current situation on the Wikipedia.
Plus you had hair combed as well.
I had what?
Hair combed?
Well, my hair, yeah, I guess that's true.
Hair was not combed in the last version when we recorded.
Oh, okay. Well, I might have just gone for a swim or something before that. Wow. This time I didn't. So the weather's not nice today. So
I had a hair to comb. I don't have any hair to comb.
That's true. It was lit on fire in the very first series.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that said,
did you say
I said it's a reference to our first episode. So without further ado, let's go back to part one. Watch it and deal with us. And let's go back to part two. And we will now return you to our regular scheduled broadcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kvetching with Adam and Jarrod. We've been on a bit of a hiatus. In fact, it's been so long, the lamp has been turned off in my office. I'm going to turn it on. Now we are back in the daylight, and
let there be light.
Let there be light. And Adam said, let there be light. And there was light. And there will be podcast. So I hope everyone's having a great summer. I can't believe how fast it's going. It's already early June. Hopefully it will not move so quickly for the remainder of the summer.
Hey, Jarrod, I got to tell you about something that happened to me. Somebody approached me last week and made a suggestion for our podcast.
What was that suggestion?
They said that we should try to think about not doing the show for a change on a Jewish topic. Make it about a different kind of topic altogether.
Okay.
Because people do talk about other things.
No, they don't. No,
people do. People talk about the weather. People talk about...
But Jews control the weather. That's been established already, right?
Yeah, the space lasers. Yeah.
So what other topics do you have?
Well, people talk about sports. And we did talk about sports.
We did the Wide World of Schwartz.
Yeah, we had that episode on sports. Yeah.
We Jewishized everything.
Right. So, I don't know what to make of that suggestion. What do you think?
Well, there was that old joke where some Jew is telling other Jews jokes, and one after another, and he starts one of them off, and he says, "So Moshe and Shloimi were walking down the street, and they decided to pop into the synagogue, and there was the rabbi, and someone says, wait a sec, why are you doing this? Why are all your jokes? Why do they have to have Jewish characters in them? Come on, can't you do any other people for a change?" And the guy said, "Okay, fine." So Juan and Jose are walking down the street, and they enter the synagogue, and the rabbi is on the bima, and he calls Juan up for an aliyah, dot, dot, dot. So sure, we can do that. We can insert non-Jewish names into our conversation, and it won't be a problem. But no, we are so ensnared in the Jewish universe that we managed to transform everything into a Jewish topic.
All right. Well, I guess that explains it.
Yeah, yeah. So our hands are tied. Sorry.
There are all kinds of people out there that don't discuss Jews. I mean, it's hard for us to think about it, but can you imagine? I mean, like I'm sure that most of my neighbors go through life without ever discussing Jews.
Well, you should
Rarely.
You should change that.
Well, maybe if they're talking about me, I guess they're, by proxy talking about Jews.
Well, one of my favorite stories, and no, this isn't from a movie. I'm not paraphrasing Annie Hall. This really happened. About 10 or 11 years ago, we made a new hire in our department, and I went out for dinner with him and a whole bunch of other people. And he was talking about how someone else in the department had approached him and, just talking about the lay of the landscape and all that and who he should speak to. And he said, "Did you speak to the Jew on your faculty?" And I'm sitting there going, "What?" He said, "Did you speak to the Jew on your faculty?" And I'm virtually the only Jew in the department. And then everyone's sitting there staring at me. And he said, "No." He said, "Did you speak to the junior faculty?"
Ah, yeah.
It's his favorite topic. So shout out to our public historian, Ken, who loves telling that story at every opportunity that he gets.
Do you find that because you live in an area where there are not a lot of Jews down there in North Carolina, do you find that that people just randomly, and maybe just to make chit chat, whenever they have some story that involves Jews in some way, feel as though they have to tell you about it? Like you get on an elevator with people that are not Jewish, and one of them says to you something to the effect, I have a friend whose daughter just married a Jew, and
yeah, that's a very common
their interest. Yeah.
I don't think it's unique to the Jewish people, though. I'm pretty
Uh,
sure it happens to other minorities as well. You've
all
seen
right.
my big fat Greek wedding, but no, I mean, my number of years ago, I wrote a piece called "I Survived Teaching Jewish Studies in North Carolina." And no, I am not the one who gave it that name. The forward gave it that title. And just to give you an example of one excerpt from it, people were constantly approaching me, and they said, "Wow, you're Jewish," and there were all sorts of great stories. They thought I was bringing about the return of Jesus, that I was integral to the project of the Second Coming. And here is one perfect example from this dialogue. Here, I'm back in the YMCA steam room. It is just me and one other man. Him, you teach over there at the college, right? Me, I do. Him, history of Mississippi, right? And I said, no, close, Jewish history. A few minutes later, he says, wait, I got it. I voy. And I said, indeed, though I believe you mean oy vey. A few more minutes pass in their silence, and he says, man, that was some Holocaust. And I replied, indeed, Holocaust.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that frequently happens.
I actually remember that article. I forgot about that article that you
Yeah.
wrote. Yeah.
So I highly recommend it to everyone. It's called "I Survived Teaching Jewish Studies in North Carolina." There is proselytizing plumbers. There's Brookstone people, employees, where I was buying an iPad keyboard, whose eyes lit up when she heard that I was Jewish and was surprised that I didn't believe in Jesus. And the reply was, well, to quote the Doobie Brothers, Jesus is just all right with me. And then I asked her for a Jewish discount on the keyboard, and she didn't give me one in the end. And I found that very offensive. I was very insulted about that. So
Well,
yeah,
let's get to the topics of today's episode. So, first of all, let me preface this by saying that I am going to be using this title for one of my chapters in the book that I am currently writing. But we're going to also use it for the title of this episode, The Good, the Bad, and the Schmegegge. All right. So,
Right.
what?
You didn't mention the most important part.
What's that?
I came up with the title.
Yeah, Jarrod came up with the title, right? And I'm going to be using it as a title in my book for a chapter. And so thank you, Jarrod, for making that recommendation to me. I will put you in the acknowledgments
All right.
of the
Anytime.
book for coming up with that title for that chapter for me.
So, breaking news here, and I take this as an insult to the Jewish Studies Zionist Network, which we have poured our heart and soul into it. And in many ways, our podcast is a reflection of it, because as Adam suggested in our seminal opening video, that we combine humor and intellectualism, we don't take ourselves too seriously. But we are
Right.
grounded in academics, and we are public-facing activists in many respects, and we add humor to it. And for this reason, we do give out an award at the end of the year called the Schmegegge of the Year Award. Right?
We've been doing this for the past 2 years.
2 years running already. And boy, we got some names for the upcoming one, that's for sure. And we have the perennial twerp of the year, but he's not really twerp of the year, he's twerp of the eternity, so we never gave him an award. But it is still an award bestowed by the JSCN. So the Schmegegge of the Year Award, we gave it.
We try to give it to somebody that is very prominent, right? We'll never give it to like some junior faculty member. We're not out to really embarrass some young person in Jewish studies, right? It's gonna go to somebody that's a very big name.
Well, the issue with Sasha is not really that, we don't want to embarrass him. The issue is more that he's just kind of irrelevant.
I know, I'm just expanding on this point though. So anyway, so yeah, so we give out the Schmegegge of the Year award. And so the first year we gave it to Peter Beinart, right? And we had a statement written up on why he is deserving of that honor. And
it was very intricately composed, very detailed. Were you the one who wrote it, Adam?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, we put a lot of work into it. And because we are, try to make our work entertaining as well, we chose Schmegegge. We thought that was an apt term to use. So it is a deadly serious award, even though we do use a Yiddish humorous term for it. And we all know who Peter Beinart is, so we're not going to bother to get into it. And by all means, check out our statements on Peter Beinart and his award. So that was the award for 2022. 2023, we gave it to a very worthy recipient in academia, who is far worse than a Schmegegge at this point. But that would be Omer, really Omer, but I call him Omer now, Bartov, who has been propagating the line that Israel is committing genocide. It's slipped from genocidal intent to basically genocide. Whereas Hamas, yeah, they committed a war crime on October 7th. Of course, I condemn them, but however, and this man is one of the leading top 10 Nazi Germany Holocaust historians in the country, I would say, from the older generation. And he is very much abusing his position and his eminence in order to really, propagate anti-Semitism by vilifying Israel as a supremacist state. Adam, I know we've been accused of being too academic sometimes. Did I use too many big words in there?
Schmegegge is a long word, but
it is a long word. Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's a big word.
And I have trouble spelling it all the time. I forget if the two G's come with the first
one.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, and I forget if we use SCH or not. So Bartov got it for the second year. Now, if you go to anyone's Wikipedia.
Wait, hold on a second here. I got to throw in another important point. Now, we didn't do this for the first year when Beinart received it. We made that decision as an executive committee, right? Those of us that serve on the executive coordinating committee for JSCN made that decision. And, everybody seemed to support that choice. The second year, when we gave it to Bartov, we didn't make that decision on our own unilaterally. We put it to a vote, right? We polled the members of JSCN, or at least those that are on our Facebook group. And although it's, like I said in the statement, it's not exactly a scientific poll, but Omer Bartov isn't exactly scientific either. So I think it's worthy, as I said in the statement. But anyway, I want to make that point because the decision to give it to Bartov was pretty substantially supported, right, by the rank and file as well as us on the executive committee. Actually, I was originally supporting giving it to Norman Finkelstein.
Yeah,
Right?
but Finkelstein's old news already. It's so passé. Who are the other people that we had as possible candidates? Do you remember?
Simone Zimmerman was one of them.
Oh yeah. She deserves something, that's for sure. The producer of the film Israelism, which
Mhm.
accuses American Jews of disloyalty and of supporting Israel and of running right from their prom to go sign up for the IDF.
Right,
Number
right.
one priority.
And there was one other person that was on the list of choices on the ballot.
Hmm.
But Bartov overwhelmingly was the far and away choice that was heavily supported. So I think that it's important to clarify that it wasn't just us. It was pretty much like 90% of the voters supported Bartov.
People in our network, yeah, who are not necessarily academics, but academics and their supporters who
Well,
are.
no, because I remember when I put the ballot out, I asked that only signatories to the JSCN statement, mission
Oh.
statement, vote.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a very good idea. I didn't remember that. But if you are a JSCN signatory and you're not in our Facebook group, even if you hate social media, create an account and just sign up for our group, and you could be there for great discussions. I'm not a frequent poster there actually, but we have a couple of people who have stuff going on, at least 5 times a week. They're posting updates on what's going on campuses, and
Right.
it's very tiring and exhausting after 7-8 months of this, or really several years of this, but
Yeah.
7 months have been brutal.
Right.
So yeah, this was a wide consensus that Bartov got it. We bestowed the award upon him. We even made a little video, and then he proceeded to block me afterwards.
He blocked me also,
Yeah,
and he blocked Moshe Bernstein.
he did. Well, that's
Mhm.
all. Who wrote? Did you write this statement, the Bartov one?
I wrote that statement
Okay.
also.
Okay. I gave you some material. Yeah, no, I mean, a very unscholarly response, and I'm tired of this. This is what the wokeadocs and the woke left constantly do, and it's getting infuriating. Shachar Pinsker, a professor at University of Michigan, someone who's from Israel, wrote this piece, which was actually a rather boring piece in the end. It was just some literary analysis, but the title was just so it was so over the top about Jewish vengeance, and I had a picture of the IDF and blood and this and that. And it really, it's something that was intended to evoke revulsion, um, possibly among Jews. That might have been his primary thought, but obviously the non-Jews are going to look at this, and it's going to play into the stereotype of Jews seeking vengeance on the quote goyim, going back many, many centuries, if not
Oh
to.
yeah, it's very dangerous. Very
Yeah.
dangerous.
So,
Yeah.
I posted a critique on his Facebook wall, very respectfully. I was Facebook friends with him, just saying, please name a culture. Let's accept for a second that Jews are out for vengeance. Let's just assume that's true for a minute, even if I don't agree with it. But please name a culture that does not do the same thing after someone attacks their country and murders, well over 1,000 people in a mass killing operation and takes hostages. Can you name one country that doesn't do it? And all you have to do is read the literature, the memoirs, and the press from the Soviet Union during World War II, and they were out for blood. And is there something wrong with that? Well, I'm not going to weigh in morally here, but the point is you're making it sound like some sort of unique Jewish phenomenon.
Mhm.
And rather than addressing my very legitimate concerns, he ended up unfriending me.
Wait a minute, he didn't even say
He didn't say no. That word has been copywritten by Mira Sukharov when she has no response.
Okay.
She's sticking with that,
All
and
right,
she
so
blocked me
wait,
for
so that's when Bartov blocked you. See, I thought he blocked you because you mentioned the Schmegegge of the Year award.
no. I digressed onto Shachar Pinsker
Oh,
and
okay.
friending me.
Okay, so he blocked me. No, he first blocked Moshe Bernstein when he posted on Bartov's Twitter that he got the Schmegegge of the Year award from JSCN. Bernstein, by the way, for those that don't know, is on our coordinating committee. And there's a previous episode of our podcast with him as a guest. But anyway,
Really
Bernstein.
cool guy. If you want to see someone who's managed to square the the Orthodox Judaism with meditation and indulging in
And marijuana.
psychoactive substances. He's the guy. He's the dude.
Right. And he's a rabbi. He's a rabbi. He has a PhD in Asian studies with the emphasis on, like, he's the world's expert on Chinese Jewry. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
my point is that he blocked Bernstein, who's a really nice guy, and he blocked me when I went in there and told him about or told his followers about the JSCN award that he got.
He hasn't blocked our network Twitter account.
He hasn't. Okay, interesting. Now I have to say that in Beinart's favor, in his a point in his credit, is that he didn't block anybody when we told him about it. He actually accepted the award. He said, "I accept this award on behalf of anyone whose Uncle Ira say that the Palestinians don't exist," or something like that. But he actually came back with a fairly clever line, to sort of stick it back to us. Bartov didn't do anything like that. He just went ahead and blocked us, right? So,
well, he's an academic in Jewish studies, and as we've learned over the past few months, academics in Jewish studies on the left refuse to engage. They just block.
and he obviously
Once you quote implicate yourself, that's it. You're done.
Right. I implicated myself. Well, that was with Sasha.
Sasha the twerp. Yeah, he refused to address anything.
But these guys have no sense of humor.
No.
Right? Bartov has no sense of humor at all.
Well, neither does Sasha, nor
yeah.
Or does Mira. We could give you a whole list of people who don't have senses of humor, and that's what makes us better than all of them. So the fact that they don't have a sense of humor and try to eliminate us, coupled with the fact that you gave a good shout out to Peter Beinart here for actually responding, leads into what the incident that transpired this week. We thought that it was important for Peter Beinart and Omer Bartov to have on their Wikipedia pages that they won the Schmegegge of the Year award. And someone we know, or a couple of people we know, actually went ahead and did the entries on their Wikipedia page. And I don't see this as a problem. It's a legitimate award. We are a legitimate organization.
We have over 200 signers.
And a hell of a lot of supporters in the general public and academics who are not in Jewish studies.
That's correct. Yeah.
And the sentence that that was entered basically said in 2023 under the award section, in 2023, Omer Bartov was awarded the Schmegegge of the Year award by the Jewish Studies Zionist Network. That's all it said. It was properly annotated with a footnote leading to the page on our network site. And it was entered. I get alerts whenever Google alerts whenever Jewish Studies Zionist Network is mentioned in the press, as I do with my own name. And it was entered, and then I discovered a day or so later that they had been removed. Right? They had been removed. I don't think they were entered by the same person. I'm not exactly sure actually who actually put the entries in the first place. One of them was in New York. The other one wasn't in New York. I couldn't trace the IP address, but it was definitely not New York. And it was two different people who removed them as well. The one for Bartov, in their comments, they actually accused the person who entered it of vandalism. Now, I don't see how this constitutes vandalism. I don't see how this constitutes smearing anyone. You can argue that the award that we gave them in the first place is, in fact, a smear. That's an argument that one can make. But the bottom line is the award was granted, and it's just
Wikipedia entries for prominent people or anything really oftentimes have a section for criticism, right? Where people, what kinds of criticisms have been lodged at that person or that organization or whatever. And I think that our Schmegegge of the Year award isn't really a smear; it's a criticism, right? We wrote statements up and linked to, and the Wikipedia article had footnotes linking to our statements that were actually very straightforward in explaining why exactly these people need to be criticized. In fact, there was very little humor in the statements. The only real humor is the title of the award.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't see how this could be constituted as a smear.
It's
Uh,
not.
and okay, so and also I will say that a lot of Hollywood celebrities have on their Wikipedia entries awards that are not so flattering, like Golden Raspberries,
Yeah.
right? And our Schmegegge of the Year award is basically, an academic equivalent of a Razzie.
All right, everyone. Now we are back to part 2 of the episode, Blue Shirt. And we are going to bring you some exciting developments. Well, the fiasco appears to have been resolved temporarily, at least. And I figured, okay, they don't want just some random award listed on their page. Perhaps someone found that offensive and thought it was a joke, even though there was a hyperlink to the actual award pages. We figured, why not provide a legitimate critique of their views on their Wikipedia page? Because I went through Beinart and Bartov's Wikipedia pages, and there was absolutely no critique of their anti-Zionist views. And it's outrageous because that has made the news. There have been op-eds written about it, plenty about Beinart. With the case of Bartov, not that many. It's been mostly on social media, but I did find a few apt quotes.
Well, there's the Quillette article, right?
The Quillette article, yeah, that's the main one. Yeah, and I got a quote from there, and I have our statement quoting him as well. And I have an article, a link to Beinart's own words in there as well. And I am the one who made this.
So is that on Wikipedia? That's a place where people ought to be able to go to read the good, the bad, and the Schmegegge. To read the criticisms as well as the praise.
That's right. So maybe the title does work. Good, the good, the bad, and the Schmegegge.
Maybe so. We'll keep it. Maybe.
Okay, we're going to keep the title. Sorry for misleading you multiple times throughout this episode in my sober and drunken state in the previous clips. So we are going to turn to the Wikipedia pages, and I will show you, this is my debut of Wikipedia paragraph writing. And admittedly, once I added my name to a Wikipedia page a number of years ago when I was going under the pseudonym Yid in Dixieland. And in fact, on my own Wikipedia page, someone added Dixieland.
What's that? What did you say? I cut you off.
Why'd you cut me off?
Because I was going to make a point. I didn't realize that you weren't finished.
Oh, I'm just saying that once when I was publishing a blog under the name A Yid in Dixieland, I added my name to notable Jewish characters in American fiction.
Oh, okay. But I want to make a point, though, that to clarify that the original Wikipedia entries that went up neither of those were by either Jarrod or me, right? These updates, though, were Jarrod.
Yeah, I made these updates.
Mm-hmm.
I made these updates. The original updates were whatever. Anyways, we are going to now turn on screen sharing because I'm going to read to you my debut Wikipedia page entries. Isn't that exciting? And I encourage all of you to go there yourselves and read it. So let us turn on screen sharing. And we've got a special visual treat for you later in the episode as well. And here we go. Peter Beinart. Adam, do you see Beinart?
See Beinart, yep.
All right. Well, there he is, pontificating about some sort of crap. And it has lots of stuff on his career and his works and his views. And yeah, he's written several, quote, I hate using the word seminal essays.
Why did a picture of Obama just come up?
A picture of Obama?
Was that a picture of Obama that
You're hallucinating, Adam. You're hallucinating.
Yeah, I just saw a picture of Barack Obama.
Well, I might have scrolled this over something. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
See, I'm not hallucinating.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Do we want to discuss them or should I move on?
We can move on. I just wanted to know why a picture of Obama sprung up when you hovered over the New Republic.
Who knows? I guess a very good question. I don't know. But, the Jewish Studies Zionist Network needs a Wikipedia page. And I encourage some of our fans out there, if you want to draft one, I feel a little bit weird writing one of those myself. And it's also kind of time consuming. But by all means, you could extract all the information from our website, JSC Network, jsznetwork.org. So here's the paragraph I added. Peter Beinart's rejection of Israel as a Jewish state and his op-eds in the New York Times and Jewish Currents have garnered severe opprobrium. And I'll just add that I mentioned those two media outlets because they are cited in previous paragraphs here, have garnered severe opprobrium from Jewish media outlets and academics. In the Jewish Journal, Michael Feuer writes that, quote, instead of correcting some of the hyperbolic anti-Israel reporting that has so blurred people's capacity to know what is going on, he pours fuel on the flames of ignorance and perpetuates a rhetoric that lays blame for the whole conflict primarily or solely on Israel. Footnote. There you go. You can read that article, and I encourage everyone to read it. Similarly, Shani Moore contends that Beinart doesn't understand actual Israelis because he doesn't care about actual Israel, about the actual Israel. Israel for him is a projection, a cave window with which to imagine an argument with people and organizations in American Jewish life. Footnote, the Fathom. I encourage everyone to read this as well. June 6, 2024. So this is that's the data I retrieved it. It's from October 2020. So they're pretty old critiques. Because of his views and the pushback he has received from the Jewish community, the Jewish Study Zionist Network bestowed upon him the 2022 Schmegegge of the Year Award. Footnote. And let us go to that page right now and look at it. We did not have a podcast back then, so we didn't do an episode about this, but he did win the award, and you can read why on this page of ours with hyperlinks as well. So this is a legitimate award. Very nice graphic, designed by Laura Kessler, I believe. Yep. And yeah, so that covers Beinart, and I think it's been up for several days and nobody's taken it down. I have been told ever since the original takedown that there is some sort of anti-Zionist conspiracy at Wikipedia, which I have not been able to verify. But I take that to mean that there are people going in there and sabotaging anything that could be construed as a critique of anti-Zionists or construed as something that's favorable towards Zionism. That might entirely be possible. I suspect, though, with Beinart, with Bartov, whose award was taken down twice, this has something to do. And the second time, I went back in there and put it up because he didn't have a section where it fit perfectly in there. I suspect that either Bartov is himself monitoring it or he has people monitoring it for them. Peter Beinart, with good reason, probably has better things to do with his life and realizes he's a public figure and open to critique. He did respond, as Adam points out in the other episode, to our bestowing of the award to him in 2022. He tweeted a response. Whereas Bartov, go on.
Bartov is not.
No, instead, what did Bartov do?
He blocked me.
He blocked you.
He blocked you. He blocked me. He blocked Moshe Bernstein.
Yeah.
He blocked one other person.
He hasn't blocked the network Twitter account, so I will hopefully tweet this episode to him when we are done. All right, let's move on to Omer. And again, this speaks volumes here that, Beinart, jackass that he is, at least is a good sport about things. I suppose as a journalist, he recognizes that's part of being a journalist. But yeah. Bartov is not, and I suggest that plays into the egotism and narcissism and whatnot of academics.
Smugness. He comes across as smug.
He is very smug. He is very smug. And in fact, Bartov was caught on camera. I wish I had the picture handy.
And I met Beinart years ago, about 20 years ago, back when he was a lot more sensible politically, and he seemed like a nice guy. Beinart did not seem smug to me when I met him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that he is. I'm sure a lot of these people are very nice people. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but I'm sure there are half that are nice. I don't have the picture handy, but just to add to his schmegegginess, and perhaps this really takes up a level from being a schmegegge to being something far, far worse, is that Bartov with Raz Siegel, the other person who is critiqued in that episode in that issue of Quillette, who issued a statement calling Israel a genocidal state committing genocide or on the verge of committing genocide. They were both sitting with the encampment, and it's a pretty terrible thing. Oh, I do have the image here. Okay, I'm going to pull this up.
By the way, I hate to break it to you, but you spelled Schmegegge wrong.
Where?
In the Wikipedia article.
I did? How did I spell it?
Without the C.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And which one? The Beinart one?
Yeah.
Well, that means I spelled it wrong.
I think you may have even spelled it wrong in the Bartov one.
I would have, because I cut and paste. Well, whether there should be a C in there or not is debatable, but since we did use it in our award, yeah, I will have the edits will have to be made. I'm going to wait a few days and then go in there and make the edits. Damn it. All right, but just to show that Bartov, well, he's really deserving of the title Schmendrick at this point, or something far worse. Here is a picture of him at the encampment. You know how terrible this is? I mean, the optics here. This is an encampment at presumably Brown, though I can't be sure about that since Raz Siegel's with them and maybe they traveled to another university. Encampments where anti-Semitic chants were undoubtedly made. And here he is, and where Israel's being accused of genocide. And here is one of the top Holocaust scholars in the country. Siegel's not as important, but still an important scholar. They're basically giving them the optics that they want, right? They have legitimacy. They're being held up as legitimizing the views of these Palestinian activists, some of whom are clearly anti-Semites. Not all of them, but some of them are. And in fact, that speaks to the quote that was included in the Wikipedia page by me.
I just noticed something about Bartov, but we'll get to that in a little while.
Okay, all right, well, we'll come back to that because Adam has some great observations, including you can go back to our first episode and watch that. All right, so Bartov, originally it was under awards over here, but I put it under political views. Bartov's claim that Israel's actions in Gaza after the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack constitute, quote, genocidal intent, with a footnote to an article in the New York Times, has generated significant pushback from other scholars in Jewish studies. Holocaust historians Norman Goda and Jeffrey Herth, who are two very important individuals. Herth has written several foundational texts on anti-Semitism and propaganda and Nazism and the Holocaust. He wrote a great book on Nazi Germany called Reactionary Modernism. Norman Goda is director of the Bud Shorstein Center for Judaic Studies at University of Florida. We have had him on our podcast. He was my mentor when I taught at Ohio University for 2 years. And they penned an important piece in Quillette, which as of now, as far as I know, aside from our award, is the only piece that is, criticizing Bartov for what he's done. They write, and several other academics are exploiting their credentials and identities to push their views, despite lack of evidence. They are, and this is a quote from their article, Jews and Israelis to boot, intentionally or not. Their credentials provide an imprimatur to those eager to accuse Israel of perpetuating genocide. Okay, Goda and Herf wrote in Quillette. All right, so here's the footnote to the article. It's paywalled, but I was able to get a copy of it. So, right, I mean, they're saying, hey, we're Jews, we served in the IDF, we're Holocaust historians, you have to believe us. We have more knowledge than someone like Peter Barnard does, who doesn't have much knowledge about anything, whether he's a nice guy or not. The Jewish Studies Zionist Network, an organization of, quote, experts in Jewish studies with a commitment to peace and welfare and all communities in Israel, and we are committed to that, contends that Israel has gone to great lengths to avoid harming non-combatants, and accordingly, it is ludicrous to suggest there is any genocidal intent behind Israel's very targeted mission against Hamas. Israel understands that the Palestinian people are just as much the victims of Hamas's long reign of terror as Jews are. And that is a footnote to our Schmegegge of the Year award. And I believe it was you, Adam, who wrote that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And we do have a video bestowing the award on him. I highly encourage everyone to watch it if you have not seen it yet. Because of his views and the criticism he has received from his colleagues, the Jewish Studies Zionist Network gave him the 2023 Schmegegge Misspelled of the Year award. All right. So there we have it. Paragraphs still stand. I think this one was put up yesterday, and I put up the Barnard one the day before. So there we have it. We have edited the Wikipedia pages, and I will state here, if they go down again, I am accusing Wikipedia of anti-Zionism and perhaps something far worse, or at the very least accusing Bartov of having his minions sabotage our hard work. And I spent time writing that paragraph and inserting the proper code. What else do we got out of?
Well, have you noticed that that Bartov, go back up to Bartov. Have you noticed that he looks the same upside down as he does right side up?
You know what? It just so happens that I have a picture of him upside down. Let's pull it up and see what our fans think. Here is Omer Bartov upside down.
Same to me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you flip the glasses. He didn't have a beard until relatively recently. I guess the beard really does the trick.
Uh-huh. That might be it.
Yeah, we gotta flip the glasses. If I had the artistic skills, I'd flip the glasses right now to see what happens.
See, you don't have the same colored beard as the hair on your head, so you don't look the same upside down.
Yeah, well, you've got the same color beard as you do on your head, so maybe you'd look the same upside down.
I don't have a beard.
I know that you don't have any hair.
That's a good point. Yeah, you might say the same for me. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll leave to a future episode. And we will call it liar, liar, beard and hair on fire, perhaps.
I
And
have hair. I just did lit on fire.
right. Okay, so grow a little bit of stubble just around over here, and then you'll probably look the same upside down. And then you'll have to take back your critique of Bartov because you will be no different from him in that case.
I'm not making a critique of him. I'm just stating a fact. I mean, it's just an observation.
Hmm. I wonder if he's ever noticed that before.
I don't know.
It makes for a good picture, though. You know, that really should be entered in his Wikipedia page. There really should be an entry stating that some astute observers noted that Bartov looks the same upside down as he does right side up. And there needs to be a hyperlink to an upside down.
Right.
If anyone wants to go and do that on his Wikipedia page, you are all more than welcome to it. I'm not going in there and doing that at present because my entry is 100% on the up and up. Not that this isn't on the up and up. It's all geometry.
The down and down.
Yeah, it's all geometry. It's all geometry. There is no criticism or making fun of anyone here. In a perfect world, maybe we'd all look the same upside down as right side up. All right, I'm going to turn off screen sharing.
See, this is the kind of foolishness that makes it difficult for people to take our podcast seriously.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
It is. What are we exactly? Are we an intellectual, scholarly program where we discuss things in a very deep, serious manner, or are we just jokesters, just comedians on YouTube?
Has anyone criticized us for that?
Yeah, we've gotten a little bit of criticism.
Well, we say in our very opening video intro that we don't take ourselves too seriously, and we offer intellectualism.
Right.
And more importantly, we haven't put anyone in the hospital yet.
Right. Yeah, we have a lot of good qualities. So there's a lot of good reasons why you should watch our podcast.
In fact, our podcast is a much safer environment than the Association for Jewish Studies is, given everything that I heard about their most recent conference. Yeah, all the fracas and calamities that took place there. So yeah, I don't see why there's any reason why we can't have an intellectual discussion about the state of Jewish studies and the exploitation of credentials coupled with anti-Semitic tropes to platform oneself and give legitimacy to those who seek to bring about the liquidation of Israel, while simultaneously having a picture of Omer Bartov upside down and making a very important geometric point for our audience. There's no reason why we can't do this. And I'm going to stand on this hill and fight.
I agree with you entirely.
I will fight the good and the bad and the Schmegegge until we win the battle.
All three.
Yeah. And without further ado, we're going to keep this episode name. I think it works. The good, the bad, and the Schmegegge.
Right.
This is Adam and Jarrod signing off for the second time, though you probably won't hear the first sign off since we're cutting that out. Yet we are geniuses at work with advanced video editing here, or at least I'm the one doing that. And again, I'm going to give Adam credit for the upside down observation. It's he deserves full credit for that.
Jarrod is the one that is doing all of the technical work for this show. So when you're laughing at the poor technical abilities of the program, it is not my fault. It's all Jarrod.
Well, that's why we were originally a low budget Jewish production.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But we're up and coming. We're rising.
All right. Our budget is not rising though, but we are making some improvements in the effects of this.
Well, it's not so much that we need more of a budget. We need someone to volunteer to actually turn us into a technologically savvy outfit, and, do the editing for us. It's just requires probably someone with video skills, a few hours on their part, a month, and then I take care of posting it on YouTube and whatever else. So if you want to volunteer to be part of this team, this great team that will one day be one of the top Jewish podcasts in this country.
One day, I thought we already are.
Maybe. Yeah, it's true. We have gotten, well, not according to that person who made fun of us for only having 100 subscribers.
We are #1 in anti-Semitic viewership.
Yeah,
Judging by the comments section alone, I can already prepared to say that we are the most watched program on the internet by anti-Semites.
we are. Yeah, you think so? I think we're up there. I
We're up
definitely think
there,
we're up there.
top 10 at least.
And if you do type in Schmegegge of the year into Google, we are the top hits that come up. Peter Beinart's #1 and Omer Bartov is #2. Right? Without entering either of their names, we do come up without entering JSCN and without entering my name or Adam's name. And then the third one's our YouTube video about Bartov. Okay, now that we've finished glorifying ourselves, we are going to sign off. Thank you very much for tuning in. We have a very exciting episode coming up with a guest who wrote an important article. His name is Andrew Koss on the current state of Jewish studies. So we aren't the only people taking note of this and publishing and doing a podcast about this. So he should be most likely our next episode, unless something groundbreaking happens in the next few days. And we look forward to seeing you in our audience then. This is Jarrod and Adam saying goodbye. Say goodbye, Adam.
Goodbye.